Hi, everyone. Thank you for staying up with us late. If you are on the East Coast, it is after midnight, so it's Friday morning. But here in Arizona, we are live in very near Scottsdale, Arizona, at the National Sweepstakes Convention, and I am honored to have Harriet Brown. Harriet Brown is one of my members. She's my oldest member. At how old?
96, but I have to tell you, I reviewed the thing back, and you said to me, how old are you? And I said 92 on there, and I said to the television, that was only 2 years ago, and here it was 4 years.
It was 4 years ago.
I thought it was 2 years. I totally
Lost track of time.
has for sure.
So 4 years ago, we were in San Diego at the National Convention, and Harriet was actually one of the first people that I did this with, that I did this live video with. And if you can't stay up, I know it's late, we're gonna record this. It'll be up on our YouTube channel. You can find Harriet's old video up on YouTube also. Okay, so that'll be up on YouTube from 4 years ago. So what's been going on then in 4 years? We know you forgot about two of them.
That's for sure.
What have you been doing?
Well, I'll tell you, I have to tell you about one of the most interesting, fun prizes I have just won this year. I was afraid you were going to ask me, what have you won? Because I haven't won the traditional prizes so much. But this particular prize, it was so much fun. It only involved 5 people.
Okay,
And it lasted for practically the whole day. And it ended up that it was at the polls where we have an election. I have worked at the polls since 1990.
okay,
And so we always take a poll, so how many winners or people that voted do you think would come in? And so during the day, we're always teaching each other about, or teasing about running outside and saying, come on in and vote, or pretending we're locking the door. And after this whole day was over, I won it.
oh, you won the pool.
I won the pool. It was a total of $2.50.
What'd you spend it on?
Probably a Coke.
Coke. So,
Coca-Cola,
yeah,
that
we
is.
can show,
Right.
we need to get you like a Coke sponsorship,
That's-
because that is her drink of choice.
That's right.
So we have refreshments, of course, nothing but the best in the iWIN green room. So have you traveled anywhere? Have you been anywhere outside of, you live in Chicago or
Yeah.
near Chicago?
Well, last Friday, I took a trip to Rochelle
Okay,
for Ginny Christopherson's husband's funeral. Now, I have to tell you, this is a little bit strange. I wanted to show you. When do you show
we
this?
can show this now. So here,
Okay.
let me show this. This is some Rockford, Illinois sweepers. Let me kind of zoom in there. And this is the past and present of some of these people. And go ahead, so talk about your
Oh, well,
sweepers.
at the funeral, Ginny and her husband had 4 boys,
Okay,
and they were there at the funeral. 2 of them spoke for quite a long time, probably 20 minutes each. And I'm saying to myself, because I can't understand what they're saying, and I'm saying to myself, I'm going to tell the boys that if or when Ginny dies, that I would be happy to give a little note about Ginny and sweepstakes. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, I'm 96 years old and Ginny is 86, and I'm talking about speaking at a possible funeral, and I thought that was kind of funny.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
So,
and
so,
I did tell the boys,
Uh-huh.
and they kind of laughed along with me, so.
so I'm sure everyone wants to know, are you dating anyone? Last time you were trying to find someone to help you with your iPhone. That was a requirement in the dating profile.
I haven't
And
found
they, and that they
anybody.
drove, right? It was driving, and, they also had to be good with an iPhone.
Well, that's true, but, and when you said driving, I thought you were going to ask if I still drove my car. Well, I have a car in the garage, it's fully covered, and I have a driver's license. I didn't tell my kids I was going to go out.
When was
And-
this?
Well, my birthday was in April.
Okay.
You know, Queen Elizabeth and I shared the same birthday,
Okay,
but she was 1 year older. And regardless of that, I went out about 10 days before my birthday and drove right on down to the driver's license bureau, took a test, passed it, and when my kids came over, I said, I have a new driver's license. But my son likes to take me around, and
Uh-huh.
especially in the winter, it's very nice to get picked up in the
sure,
morning.
absolutely.
In a
The
warm
valet
car.
service?
That's right.
So do you drive those still then? Do you go out every now
I
and then?
drive once in a while, but you know, the car, the battery goes dead. on
Because
me.
you don't start it that
That's-
often.
That's true. That's
So
true.
we were
So-
talking earlier, you've won a car, you've done the Four Cs. When did you start sweeping? What year roughly did you start this?
I was about 19 years old. I was born in 1927, so about 46, I suppose. I was married when I was 17. And that was 1944. The war was going on, and I only knew him 4 months, and he was going to go in the service, and I felt it was my duty to get married. It was not a very good decision, but that's the way things
Sure, it happens.
go. Yeah,
But you've entered, you've won the Four Cs.
I have.
So you won cruises, computers, a car. We were talking about, so it was we think we've narrowed it down, it was a Ford Escape, maybe.
Uh,
Do we know what year?
yeah, 2000.
2000, this wasn't
Yeah.
super long ago.
Well-
That's the only car you ever won?
Yes.
And that's the
Yeah.
biggest prize you've ever won?
Oh, yeah, it was worth $32,655. And I know I had to pay $7,000 in taxes. But that's the way it is. So,
That happens.
yeah,
It's a good problem, though.
oh, yes, you bet.
So I know your club has been a big part of your life, various clubs, not just sweepstakes club, you have a stock club. What else am I missing?
Well, I'm secretary of the Wise Investment Club. We started that club in 1995, and I have been the secretary the whole time. And I have to tell you something about clubs. I have taken the minutes for that club every single month that it has been in business. And I pride myself on writing the minutes and getting them out the very night that the meeting lasts. And so it was a kind of strange. In the last 3 years, we have done it by Zoom. And so I took the minutes, and there's only about 7 or 8 people out of 30 members that attend the Zoom meeting. And so I try to make it a little humorous or a little human, you know.
So you guys meet and basically discuss investing in stocks?
That's right, but then people talk. This one gentleman, somebody said to him, hey, this is your anniversary, because there's a lot of people that are interrelated, you know. And so this one person said that he was talking to me, it was his 34th wedding anniversary. And so I heard the very next day that this gentleman called me up or didn't call me up. He sent an email and he told me that he had read his wife the minutes that I had done. And the wife said, oh, isn't she sweet, or something that nature. And so that was the very first time in a very long time, let's see, 28 years the investment club's been going on, that anybody had ever responded to me. And you know what happened? I started to cry when I read that, because like I said, I take the minutes and I type them up, print them, send them out before I go to bed. And then for the next day and the day after that, I look on my email and say, maybe somebody will say a good job or something. And nobody had.
You have amazing writing skills over the years. You've wrote books. I actually am fortunate that you guys gave me a copy of 2 of them. I've read them. You've wrote for sweepstakes newsletters. I've read some of those things. So a couple things I want to cover on there. So the one thing that you and I believe very much on is that people say you're lucky, people say I'm lucky. We both have won a lot of nice things. But you've said you make your own luck. And you don't necessarily believe in luck as much as hard work, hard effort. What do you have to say about that, and how that's helped you be successful in life in many ways?
Well, of course, you have to enter if you're going to win. And I don't do a whole lot of entering, I have to admit that, and I do not know the latest thing. I really stick with the email and Instagram and that type of thing. I don't get into it. My hand is not real good, and so it's hard for me to write the things out. And I know I can buy it, but I'm too tight to buy or to pay somebody to do it. So I do enter. And it's a challenge for me. And I have this club that meets, and I believe the fact that this club that has met since about 1995, actually, kind of like the investment club, we meet, and I also write the minutes for the meeting.
How many people are in your current club still? And you guys still meet?
I think there are 13.
Okay.
See, we started back in, like I said, 95, this Jenny Christofferson that I talked about. Not sure how I got hooked up with her, but we used to drive into the Dream Team meeting in Naperville. And that was the first national convention I went to also. So we, like I said, we went there, and then somebody in the dream team was working for a big hotel. And so we could meet in that hotel, but then she left the hotel business and we started meeting in Sandy Gulliver's house. And so we drove back and forth. I would drive, I'd pick up Ginny and so forth. But then after a while, I decided to write this book, and Ginny had said, somebody had bought my book, The Winning Road, which is out of print now. Thank you very much. And because of, they wrote into Sandy and said they liked the book a lot.
The book is very interesting. I've actually started reading it, and I truthfully had hoped to finish it before this, but I did not get all the way through it. But I was amazed, and one of the things I was reading, and this was actually separate. It was actually in the other book, the stenographers.
The Jolly Stenographers, contests, investments, recipes, and more.
And you had this little club, and you guys basically shared your winnings with each other. I found that part of the book super interesting. So, and it was based on the dollar value of the prize, the percentage that you would share with the different members. So like, let's use, if somebody won a $200 grocery gift card, how was that divvied up?
Well, if I remember correctly.
Sure, and I'm not holding you to it.
Right.
But a rough idea.
That if it was just a small amount, they could keep the prize themselves.
Okay.
But if it was, say, $200 or $300, they would give maybe 10 or 15% to the club, because there was a contest that a bunch of old ladies had written about a book about contests, and I said, well, hey, our club is doing that, and maybe we ought to write a book. And that's another thing I want to tell you. Sometimes people will have ideas, and they'll share them with others, like me, and then I will take action. And I might include what somebody else had already said. But what happens to that person is it just drops. The idea has come out and they don't do anything about it. Ideas are a dime a dozen, but somebody has to take action. And I have a family clan, and we have written a couple books on there, and they're really good, because we had, every year we would have a theme, and this went on. One year we made 75 quilts for the clan, and we did the book, and somebody, after 25 years, I was at a graduation or something, and I said, I'm thinking about redoing that book. And they said, oh, please do, because my book is threadbare and that type of thing. So we did it. My niece's sister had just died, and I said, well, this perfect opportunity. So I wrote this book, and I had it reprinted.
How many books have you wrote, roughly?
Well, I don't do all the writing. Well, this Winning Road I did, but the Jolly stenographers, I said to start out, why don't we pretend we're writing to the, our teacher, the stenography class at East High School. And that's what people did. They started out by writing this book, this thing. And then it went on. We had to do more than that. So I had started them. I would bring 4 or 5 contests, and every single month they would write their entries, and they were responsible for mailing them in. Remember, maybe you don't, but years ago, there were 4 airlines, I think, that was giving away 10,000 trips for
10,000
2
trips.
people. Yeah, I mean, it was just tremendous. And so I had our girls prepare I give them a pattern, and they wrote in, and out of the Jolly stenographers, there were only 6. There were probably 18 in our stenography class, but they fall away, and so 6 of them lasted forever. And 2 of them won trips to go to anywhere they wanted to go.
Wow.
And they decided, and one of them asked another Swedish person to go with her. And they went to Sweden and had a great time, met relatives over there. The relatives came over here, studied and so forth, and had fun.
Irma sent some stars, and for those that don't know, stars is kind of like Facebook's way of tipping content creators. By all means, you don't need to tip me, but any of the tips that do go in there, some of you guys know I do a give back event, and the give back event is in December, so all that goes to the give back event. Same thing, you can go on Facebook, YouTube, you can see some of the replays. We've done it for 3 years, I believe. I think this is the 4th year coming up. Another thing to talk about, to switch topics a little bit, some people know, but you were on Oprah.
Oh, yes.
When were you on Oprah?
Well, it was in the early 80s. She was in Baltimore at the time, and it was just a very nice interview. But I think she thought I was crazy because I don't think she knew anybody entered sweepstakes. And it has grown over the years.
Were you the influence, though? Maybe you were the influence, where she goes, and you win a car, and you win a car. I don't know if you've seen that video where she does that, and they have memes about it. Maybe that was you. So how in the world did you end up on Oprah?
I just thought about that fairly recently, and I think somebody had, after I wrote the book, I think somebody had advertised that they were starting a new advertising company. Mm-hmm. And my boss at the time, he was the president of a big company in Rockford, and he had cancer and would go occasionally to New York. And so one year, after I had contacted this couple men, and I asked him if my husband and I could take a ride to New York and meet this couple, and they did. So on their own, I mean, they did the contact with Oprah. But after that, then I got my other interviews by going to California to Gary, whatever his name was.
But it was about sweepstakes.
Oh, yeah. It
That's
was all about
fantastic.
sweepstakes, and so many people still don't feel, you don't, when you're in sweepstakes and you can talk to people that know you know the language of the other people. And so when you are, now I forgot what I was going to say, honey.
It's okay.
Oh dear.
You talk about your interviews.
Oh, yes. And this one where I got Gary Collins, that was a fun one. I had also written a song called,
You wrote a song?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
What haven't you done?
Well,
Did they play this song on the radio or?
no, but Gary Collins made me sing it.
Uh-huh.
But the best part comes in sharing with a lonely protege. I mailed more than just a letter. I mailed a job today. I mailed a dream today.
I saw that. So you mailed more than just a letter. You mailed a dream today. I read that, and I thought that was fantastic.
When they flew me out to California. The reason I got that job was that I took some pictures of Gary Collins, and I found a cartoon of some kind, and I cut out Gary Collins' picture and put his name all over that picture, and I'm sure that's why they contacted me. But while I was there, the producer said, sing that song for me. And I said, I can't sing. And she said, oh, yes, you can, just do it. And I just kind of did it, you know. And then I'm live with Gary Collins, and he said, I hear you wrote this song. And I said, oh, no. But I had to do it.
Who would be the biggest celebrity that you met?
Well, you know, when I won the trip to Florida in like 2009, the Eli and Patrick,
Eli Manning.
Manning, and the girls, Williams girls.
Venus and Serena.
And they had, I think there were 8 winners in the country about licking the
Oreos.
Oreo cookies things.
Yep.
And so that was fun. But I think probably the one that is best known is Oprah. Yeah.
So I want to cover this to make sure we get this in tonight. So if you're at the convention, in your welcome bag was a little envelope like this from the Sweepstakes Club in Rockford, Illinois. And so it is a ruler, and on one side it has all the presidents, all the way up to current, and on the back it has all the states and the capitals. So what made you choose this?
Well, for years, I've been fascinated with these 12-inch rulers, you know, the president. But of course, I didn't have any past somebody before my Biden. Well, that of course was Trump, the one before that. But anyway, you know, 12-inch is kind of hard to be real handy. So I got this company, and I said, and then they had in their advertising, they showed an 8-inch one. And I thought, that's really a neat thing to have, because it could be used as a bookmark or something. Now, I have a niece, Chris Benson. I call her my co-host for the club that we have. And so she and I and the club, which it doesn't have a lot of money, but anyway, the 3 of us decided to buy those calendar things, and we bought 1,000 of them. and we donated for this convention, and we had quite a few left. I gave them to our church, all the kids in the church school, to the members of the church. I even give them to my doctor.
Uh-huh.
By the way, when I go to the doctors, I said, well, what's about this or that? And they said, do you know how lucky you are to be as well as you are at 96? And I said, well, in fact, a couple of my doctors recently died. And I had.
I shouldn't laugh. I mean, it's horrible.
I wrote, I didn't write it, I typed it, but signed it, and I told him how much I had appreciated him, that he recognized sometimes that I needed a little pat on the back for staying as well as I
So
did.
what do you think you've done? Anything, health-wise, life choices, what has helped you live as long as you have? Because it is, I mean, 96, and I mean, we talk and you send me emails at all hours of the day and night, and then I respond at all hours of the day and night.
And I think he may respond, this is Tom, because he does, believe you me. I can ask a question or give him a little joke or something, and I get an answer right away, and I think he'll drop it because he's a busy man. But no, you respond. We went back and forth about 4 times recently, because and I think you need a little bit of a joke along the way. That's why it hurts so when I didn't get a response from that. But this poor guy that I had told him I cried, he said, oh, I wish I had said what I think about your minutes years ago.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I have a couple people in my local club that do respond every now and then. So they take care of me.
One of my funniest emails, and it was a very simple email, but it was not long ago, and it was the Final Four, the men's basketball championship, and not long after it ended, it ends very late. Championship ends. I get an email from you. You need to know who the MVP was. That's your question. That's all it asks. Nothing about sweepstakes. Who was the MVP of the championship tonight? So I email you back. I don't remember who it was, but I email you back because I had watched the game and saw the ceremony. And you said, good. I have to total up all our pool entries so I can send out the results. And it's like 1 a.m. in the morning.
Well, there you go. You see, if we have a club, I want to get the minutes out to the people. And so we have our monthly little drawings, you bring a couple stamps and all that stuff. But whenever there's a Kentucky Derby or the World Series or Super Bowl, I make up a little chart. And even though we have like 16 or 13 active members, I always have 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them when they join that they are either in all of my drawings or none of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to take time to call this one, do you want to get in this or that or something? I'm not going to do it. And
That's a lot of work.
yeah, it is, but I'm very, very particular about getting the money out to the winners right away. I don't want them to think I'm squirreling the money away, because I certainly am not.
Well, they know your battery's probably dead in your car, so you're not getting that far.
That could very well be.
Are
yeah.
you a sports fan?
Well, no.
No? Do you follow the Chicago
Well,
team? I
my,
mean, you've had some very good teams in Chicago.
yeah, I know. I know. In fact, um, I went and bought several items at Walmart to bring in here for the drawings for the local, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I bought hats for the Bears and the Cubs and the White Sox. I spent $88
Wow.
on things like that, but had a whole other things to donate to the club. Well, you know, you said that there were over 90 different pick-a prize.
Oh, yeah, easily. I honestly don't know how many there were
Oh, I
tonight.
thought that was what you were
No,
answering.
I did, nobody seemed to have the exact answer. I think there were over 200.
Oh,
Easily.
I don't doubt it there.
Easily over 200, but I don't remember.
Some of the things that I actually turned in as something that we considered lucky for us.
Uh-huh.
I should have sent ahead of time. That probably would have gone into some pick
So-
prizes, but
So they're doing this drawing for those at home, and you can bring anything that you think is lucky. And they're gonna combine it all in these little prize packs, and you get tickets. You get tickets for whatever the value is of your lucky item. I don't know all the exact details, but whatever you think's lucky. And then they're gonna have drawings, and you'll get someone else's lucky stuff. So I question this. I was a little concerned. Here was my concern, and tell me if you're with me. I was concerned that what if there was a saboteur?
what?
A saboteur, like a villain, someone who brought their unlucky whatever and told them it was lucky. And now it's gonna go to someone else. Do you think anyone would do that here?
Well, you know what, when you said that, it just brings to mind the Indians that make, you know, put something over somebody's head or place, what am I trying to think of?
Like a spell, like a wizard, or?
Yeah, so, well, it could be a wizard, but they put
Curse?
what was that?
Hex, or, yeah.
Hex or curse
Yes, on
on
people.
something, like a voodoo doll, or?
That's right. That is one of my recent big interests.
Is what?
the Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, where that.
Oh, the
that-
show.
the unexplained things that
Ah.
happen to people and the UFOs that are flying over. I mean, I watched the History
No wonder
Channel
you don't
a
sleep
lot.
at night.
That's
That's why I get these emails in the middle of the night.
That's one of the big things, but no, I really find that very interesting. Just today, I was walking back, because our room is quite a ways for me, and I like to have somebody next to me that I can grab their hand or something.
They'll get you a golf cart. No, I'm serious. They will take you in golf carts anywhere on property. You just have to ask them.
Yeah, but I got my son and his wife, you
Okay.
know, I call my son my babysitter because he drives me anywhere. But anyway, this, Christy thought, well, she did lose her purse or left her purse at the
prize.
thing, yes. And of course, when she discovered it, she had to run back. Well, I was getting tired. and you know, it was 112 out here.
Yes, it was a little
And
warm.
so I was going to sit on this bench, but it was very, very hot. And some very nice lady was, heard what was going on, and she says, "You don't want to sit on that, it's way too hot." And so she kind of directed me to a wooden bench. Then I noticed that she was from Utah. The Skinwalker Ranch is in Utah.
Oh, did you talk to her about it?
Yes,
Oh, boy.
and she didn't know anything about it. She had never heard of it.
She's
I
sure
think
she's gonna
she
be up
will
tonight
now.
too, I know. So let's talk about the convention this year. So we're in Arizona. You had a good night. You won a couple prizes.
My niece won two, I won two. I couldn't believe it, because frankly, a bunch of them tickets were given to us ahead of time. We could buy extra tickets. Now, I had done a lot of walking, so I had put the original tickets in the things. But I said to my son, "Would you take these 40 tickets that I bought?" Or did I
And just
buy
put them in
60?
whatever.
I said, "I put them all in this batch that's here. But now you go that way or this way until you run out of tickets." Well, what happened was, he admitted that he put extra tickets of mine to buy sports things.
Oh, that he wanted.
Yeah. Now,
Is
was
that how we got the virtual reality headset that you now have? I mean, if we had trouble with the iPhone, I'm a little worried about you doing this. You know, they have these videos. I'll have to show you. But these people put these videos on, and you play video games and stuff with these virtual reality headsets. And you can box people and do all this. And the people think it's so real, they end up running into walls and all this stuff.
I have seen that on television, and this son has all the latest stuff at home, and he gave me a demonstration. And it is fabulous, but somebody else said they get, well, that's you. You said you get sick.
I do. I can't do the virtual reality. Can't do it.
I don't know.
Well, what are you excited for this convention?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What are you excited for? Is there something you're excited for? You want the speakers, the pool?
I'll tell you what I told somebody tonight even. I said, you know what? And it's happened with practically every one of the 25 or so conventions I have been to, is that they need to have more classes
To teach.
to teach. But I said, it was my niece I was telling this to, I said, what happened to me when I was in high school, I was so nervous about getting up and speaking in front of people. And I did not get over that until I was working at my company, and there was this big rush for Toastmasters. I asked my boss if our company couldn't sponsor a class, and he said, you can do either Toastmasters or Toastmaster, and the company would sponsor you. Well, but he said, talk to the man in personnel or human resources. So I did, but I knew the women would join the Toastmasters. I also knew the men would not join Toastmasters. Anyway, I used to play little things, like when I was doing an introduction to new members, I set up like a pretend bus, because they let us meet in the executive dining room. And I pretended I was on a bus and introducing people. And in Toastmasters, everybody there writes an evaluation of your thing. Those evaluations that I got gave me the power, the grit, the nerve to do extra things. So whenever I do minutes, I throw in different things that I know about, and that has been wonderful. But I said, when you go to a convention and you want to have a lot of speakers, you might have experts out there. They are going to be maybe too nervous to get up in front
Sure,
of us.
yeah, no, it's, one of the challenges of any convention is finding, the speakers, which is why I end up speaking at most of them, and I would gladly, I don't have to speak. You guys see me, online, you see me a lot, I know that I try and come up with some different things. I'm doing a talk on Sunday that's a different, something, new that most people haven't heard about yet, so, but yeah, it's challenging, but,
I should be ashamed to tell you this. I wish years ago somebody had asked me to write or to present an hour or two how to start a sweepstakes club.
sure.
I would have been happy to do it. But I'm not going to do it now. I'm 96. And you know what happens when you're 96?
I can't say I can relate to that. I hope maybe one day I can, but, that's,
I'll tell you, you have power when you're 96.
you do,
Because
absolutely.
people don't argue with you. They
No.
think you're expert in this or that, and you're really not. And people that are, well, you and me, I'm going to do that, they think you don't need a little pat on the back once in a while. But you do. I mean, hey, you spend a lot of time building up the confidence to do these things. It's only not, it's.
So the last thing I'll ask you, because that's kind of funny you say that, and you're right. I mean, you're 96. If you're 96, you can walk out of here and go, I'm 96 year old, I want a pizza, and someone's going to get you a pizza. Just like you told me you were thirsty, you needed a Coke. We went and got you a Coke. So,
Did not tell you we wanted a glass, but that's
oh,
all
were you
right.
was I supposed to bring a glass? No, I didn't bring a glass. It was straight out of the
When
can.
you're 96, you don't want to drink out of a can.
No?
No, God, well, you know what
Well, why didn't you tell me? I would have got
I
you a
got-
glass.
You know
'Cause you
what
spilled it because of
happened
me?
on this chair?
Oh, boy.
When I drank that, I spilled on the chair,
I
didn't
saw. It was my fault. All right, so have you ever used that to your advantage?
You betcha.
Well, that is a perfect way to end. So if you're 96, absolutely, use it to your advantage. I want to tell you one thing, and I really appreciate you doing this. You've done it twice. You're the only person to ever do it twice, these iWIN Live interviews. I know you've been an iWIN member. I know you don't sweep a whole lot anymore, but you read it and you reply to it and you ask questions. I want to tell you, I do not want you to ever pay for anything I win again. So you have lifetime. So don't get excited. I don't know.
Have you already done that? Because I think I might have been missed a hint or two that maybe my prescription was running out. But I just noticed in the last week, that it showed my thing was up in like,
I think I gave you some time last time, but I wanna tell you that I'm gonna put it far out there, you will never pay for iWin again. And I wanna thank you for always being so helpful and talking to me, and, I hope in 20 years we do this again. Hey, you know what, actually, we did it 4 years ago, so if we could do it 4 more years,
why not, 100?
I mean, 100 would be really special.
It certainly would.
Well, you always have an invite to come on here and share your voice. And so, I mentioned that I think we should do a little TikTok video. We'll do a 30-second little video after this, because you probably have never been on TikTok.
I don't even know what TikTok is.
Don't you read the newsletter?
Well, no, I don't do the,
I know.
I don't do the, what do they call that? When you, something, it's a lesson.
Okay.
What is that called? Is
Like when
that
you teach? No.
No, YouTube, no, not.
YouTube?
No,
YouTube
no.
has lessons on them and
Yeah.
master classes?
No, where they put together things. Christy from Sweep Sheet, she is the only other club I belong to. Now, you're not gonna be mad if I give her
No, you just did. I can't now. No. I like Christy very well, so I have no problem with Christy.
she came to visit.
She,
Now, you promised you were going to come.
I will have to, make arrangements, and we need to do this. So when
Because I
does
meet
the
in
club?
my house
When is the
now.
club meet?
On the first Saturday of the month.
The first Saturday of the month. All right,
And
we're
I
gonna
have a
figure it out.
basement apartment
Okay,
down there that's totally empty. I would give you free
all
room
right.
and board.
Wow, that's much better than a free iWin membership.
There you
All
go.
right, we will figure it out. I promise you. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm not coming in the snow, in the cold.
I don't blame you.
So I live in Florida. I try not to wear pants as little as possible anymore, it's shorts. So we will figure it out. I promise you. Everyone's a witness that I will come up there and we will, we'll
And
figure
I'll
it out.
invite the other club.
Okay, we will figure out a time, and I promise you, I will make that a priority coming up here in the next, 4 to 6 months or so, before winter. We got to figure it out before winter.
Oh, yeah, that's for
So-
sure.
Well, thank you again. So, anything you want to tell people at the end? Just a word of wisdom? And we'll end with that.
Join a Toastmasters club and share what you know. You know, I just saw the last professional, oh, I should tell you that I've got notebooks full of the fanatical sweepstaker, because I had these things around, I thought I can't throw them away, so I tore off the front page and I've got 3 notebooks. I understand Carol McLaughlin, I haven't seen her.
No, I haven't seen Karen in a while either.
That she kind of collects
Yes,
memorabilia, and she can have mine if I think she
she
has
might have to
room
fight me
it.
for them. Flip a coin.
Yeah,
I have a nice little collection now, and your two are part of my little sweepstakes. I never thought this would be my life as much as it is. And so now stuff like that means a lot to me. And I love it. I'm very honored to have those books. I have the DVD of Oprah. So, and I keep all that stuff all together. So,
I have, do you have my Gary Collins?
don't think I do.
Well, I've got extra copies
Well,
of
see,
it.
now when I come up, we're gonna figure this out. We will be in touch. I'll figure it out. I don't think Roscoe will come, but I'll come. So,
I don't have a dog because, when I was married to Stanley, I didn't have any pets and we were gonna get a dog, but he was 98 when we got married and I was 80. And uh, somebody thought maybe we ought to have a dog. But, you know, dogs like to be walked and fed
Yeah,
and a vet bill. So I thought, I'll have a cat.
'Cause
But
they
my
don't want-
daughter-in-law is allergic to cat.
Oh.
And I have my kids every Sunday night for supper. And I can't not have my daughter-in-law come.
that would be bad.
So I don't have any pets. Well, we've been watching all those snakes down in the Everglades.
Why do you watch this stuff? You need to
Well, it's,
watch cartoons or so. So I watch cartoons and, you know, things that I don't have to, that don't keep me up all night.
I'm going to keep pestering you.
That's
Because
fine.
you're so nice.
You can pester me. I appreciate, I love when you check in with me. So thank you for joining. Thank you for joining this. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you missed the beginning, no big deal. We're gonna get it all up. We will format it, put it up on YouTube so that you guys can watch it later. Harriet is gonna be,
Are you going to take away some of these things when I can't remember what I'm saying?
no, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of editing.
Oh.
We don't have that in the budget.
Oh, okay, well, but
It's
then
okay.
it'll
You're
be good.
96.
It'll be good for the people to recognize that I'm not perfect.
Nobody
I mean,
is.
it's hard. It's
Nobody
hard
is.
to tell people. My niece, she goes around telling everybody, this is my aunt, she can do anything.
You
Oh, my
have done
God.
pretty much everything. So we're gonna leave you with, you're not just entering, you're entering for a dream. Just like when you don't mail, you're mailing a dream. So you don't just mail, you mail a dream.
My prizes nowadays are memories.
Memories are fantastic. So thanks for tuning in. We will see you again soon.